Oh! Hey, what's poppin', fellas? KS here from KS Productions, and I'm back with another video. And so let us see what our topic is about. Oh, I know this family. I absolutely know this family. Why haven't I? This family can predict future. You have got to keep one thing in mind. You've got to keep one thing in mind. If you read this series carefully, if you watch this series carefully, you don't need to study any astronomy, because this is the new astronomy for us. Watch this series because this series is capable of predicting futures, and it has done successfully so many times during the past few decades or so. And for those who don't know, but I think that everyone knows about this series, but still I want to say that The Simpsons is an American animated cartoon series which is based on the everyday events of family life. There are five main characters in this series. This dude, the father of all children, this dude, the father and husband, this lady, mother and the wife, this girl, the daughter, and the sister, fourth, this one, Bart, the brother, and fifth, the baby, the youngest of everyone. And of course, there are a lot of series which are based on family. But what makes this series special? Why is this series so special for us? Because it can predict futures, and it has done so. And I don't know very much, or I think it's a mere coincidence, and I think this show was unknowingly chosen as the one which can predict futures successfully. And that's why I think that this is the most popular show for predicting futures, and it has done so on many occasions. Now you might say that once or twice might be a stroke of luck, or it might be a coincidence also. But what if it happens 10 times, 15 times, 30 times, even more than that? You still think that's a stroke of luck? No. It's like this series is designed for predicting futures, that is why it is popular. And I don't know if it wasn't for this, had the series gained more attention. Obviously, like, this series is very popular, but could it have been more popular if it wasn't for this future predicting outcome? Because the series has now become popular due to these events, there's no use of asking this question now. Homer, I'm gonna give you some food later. Let me finish my video and I'm gonna give you some fruits.
Okay.
Bart thinks that this series was unknowingly chosen as the one which was to highlight the future events, or to predict the future events, and that's what I think so. I tell you folks, I love this series. I love this series, The Simpsons, and the Flintstones also, but I've seen more of Simpsons, and so I love this series. It's a really light-hearted series, no what can we say, complicated story. If you haven't watched this series till now, I suggest you go and watch this series right now. See, the first one, Lisa the Greek. Yes, this is a 1992 episode which was actually reworked in 93 and 94 because of the successful prediction. That is why. In this episode, Lisa predicted that the NFL team, Washington Redskins, which is now known as Washington Football Team, may defeat Buffalo Bills in a Super Bowl match. And the exact thing happens in the episode. The Washington Football Team wins, and 3 days later, 72 hours later, in a match, and the same thing happens. The Washington team wins. Now you might think that it might be a stroke of luck, because we also say that our team is gonna beat this team. That is what. Because also she did not mention how much the scoreline they would be defeated in. But can it happen like goddamn 3 years in a row? That is not luck. That is something else. You understanding my point? These are right who have predicted the future right here. And surprisingly, this episode was reworked into 93 and 94 because of the successful outcome of 92. And they might have thought that And yes, it worked again. The teams were renamed to Dallas and Buffalo Bills. So Lisa predicted that both the times in the 2 years that the Dollars will win, and the same thing happened. They won Super Bowl against the Buffalo Bills. I really gotta tell you guys, where are the crew of The Simpsons? I wanna meet them. I wanna ask what is the prediction of 2021. I don't wanna search on Google. Please tell me if you're listening to this right now. The second one is in a 1998 episode named When You Dish Upon a Store. This actually focused on Disney acquiring the 20th Century Fox, and you can see like this image. This image represents that the 20th Century Fox is gonna be purchased by Disney. 19 years later, in December 2017, Disney had acquired a $52 billion deal for acquiring the 21st Century Fox. Obviously, this happened in 2017, and by the time the century had increased to 21st, and only the centuries matters, but the same thing happened 19 years later. I gotta tell you once again, crew of The Simpsons, I wanna meet you all, please. The Ebola War is, oh my goodness, this reminds me of the coronavirus outbreak. As far as I know, this was an episode named Lisa Sucks. Essay, don't confuse it for A for E. There was in this episode, Marge suggested that Bart could write a book which had an Ebola virus written on it. Yes, you might know that it's like a short indication. It had just a little bit of importance. You can see that it was just on a book, but the name itself came into the world years later. Fucking hell, these guys know a lot about astronomy. Oh hell, wish I could be like them. Oh, the Beatles, the most popular band of artists. And who would have thought that the Beatles would be one of the bands mentioned in The Simpsons? This was a 1991 episode where there was a Beatles fan who mailed the Beatles only to get the received reply 50 years later. Will you believe it? 50 years. It was not in days or months. What could have happened? Why did it take so much of time? Well, I'm gonna say this later. First, let's see this connection to the real world. In September of 2013, a couple of Beatles fans received reply letters from Paul McCartney when they sent a letter to him 50 years before. I'm sure you all be wondering that. Why did it take so much of time? The recording was actually sent to London Theatre, where the band was gonna perform, but unknowingly it was found years later in a car boot sale by a historian. Oh, what things am I seeing in the world right now? Impossible. Simpsons are so capable of predicting future accurately that I think this series was specifically targeted unknowingly. No one of us knew that this series was especially targeted for accurately predicting the future events. Hence, you can't see 20-30 times it happens. It just happens in The Simpsons. I don't know, maybe the writers know about the future, but I'm not sure of that. Obviously, who knows about the future? Maybe the writers do actually. I've seen a lot of Simpsons episodes. I've loved that series, and the movie especially, this movie, the 2007 one. It was a really great movie. I loved it, every bit of it. That's it for today's video. And I'm gonna see you guys the next time. And so till then, take care of yourself. So long, guys.